Hi everyone, welcome to another lovely red Tuesday in the markets. Not only markets, but also along with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the miners. Everything was red today. So we'll take a look at what's going on there. Miners, for the most part, these are the miners that were down to their new 52-week lows. So we got Bitfarms, Greenedge, Hive, BitDigital, CleanSpark, Hut 8, Sphere 3D, and Soluna all reached new 52-week lows today. So it wasn't a good day in the markets. Then we got BitDigital provided their November update. So slow growth, but good BTC per exahash still. We'll look at all the details there. And then we also have Marathon. Up, down, up, down. BTC production way lower again. We had a nice month in October. November is down again substantially. We'll take a look at what's going on there. And hopefully they can get out of this rut that they're in, that they are in. Okay, so as always, not financial advice. You guys know the drill here. I'm investing in fine coins and companies. I did buy some more Bitfarms shares today. About another, what did I buy? Another 1,000 shares? Yeah, another 1,000 shares today at 52 cents and change, roughly. So if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously, okay? Let's take a look at the markets here really quick. So the S&P was down 1.44% to 3,941. Dow Jones was down 1.03% to 33,596. NASDAQ was down 2.01% also to 11,549. BTC was down today. Let's take a look at it. It's in the new day right now. Or actually, it was up today. Was it up? It was actually up today. Sorry. I saw the red here on the numbers here, and I thought it was red. It was actually up today. It was up 0.72% today to a close of 17,089. Low was 16,904, and the high was 17,111. So we were actually up today. I was wrong on that one. Okay. Live and learn, I guess. Now, looking at the 4-hour chart on it, it is still looking a little bit bullish, to me at least, on the RSI. We're at 54. Last time we were at this low when RSI was back here. Price was lower at that point, so we are higher in price. RSI is about the same. That's good enough for me. 1-hour chart, we can see the same thing. RSI is at 57. Last time we were at this rate was back here. Price was a little bit lower, about, what is it, $45 lower. So we are a little bit higher in price, while the RSI is at the same levels right now. Okay, so that's still looking pretty good to me as well. Ethereum, if we look at the daily, we can see Ethereum was also up today. It was up 0.95. So looks like Bitcoin and Ethereum crypto was up while the markets were down today. But we are getting a little bit right now negative on it. So we'll see how it goes, but right now we're looking okay. Now the miners were all down today. ANI was down 7.15% to 28 cents. Argo was down 12.39% to 7 cents. BitDigital was down 10.07% to 78 cents. Bitfarms was down 7.41% to 50 cents. CleanSpark was down 1.43% to $2.07. Cores was down 4.93% to 12 cents. DigiHost was down 3.51% to 55 cents. DMG was down 3.23% to 15 cents. Greenedge was down 11.31% to 49 cents. Hive was down 5.39% to $1.93. Hut 8 was down 2.63% to $1.11. Iris Energy was down 6.21% to $1.51. Luxfolio was down 5.41% to 0.0035 cents. Marathon was down 5.7% to $5.79. Mawson was down 4.18% to 30 cents. Riot was down 6.01% to $4.38. Soluna was down 3.6% to 55 cents, and Stronghold was down 25.4% to 51 cents. They got clobbered today. Not sure why. I didn't see anything in the news for them, but they definitely got clobbered here. Okay. Let's take a look at the network hash rate really quick. See what's going on there. This is the 7-day average. Oh, we're starting to trend back up, it looks like. And we are at 252 million right now on the 7-day. Let's take a look at the 1-day average. And yeah, that's based on the 281 that we reached here. We've dropped back down to 229, up to 268, and then down to 231. So we are starting to potentially slowly climb back up on the hash rate. Okay, so that covers the markets, Bitcoin, Ethereum, the miners, and the network hash rate. Let's get into our first story, which I didn't talk about in the opening. It is on Bitcoin. On-chain data shows 5 reasons why the BTC bottom could be in. So I thought this was kind of interesting. We'll see if this is the case. So the first one is the SLRV ribbons flash a buy signal. You can see here on the chart. that we switched over here on the blue, crossed over the gray line here. The gray line is the SMA 90, and you got the SMA 30 as the blue one, and the Bitcoin price up here. So this looks like it's turning into a buy signal, and the way that is being calculated is it tracks the combination of the 30-day and the 150-day moving averages to the SLRV ratio, which is a percentage of Bitcoin moved in 24 hours divided by BTC held for 6 to 12 months. So that's kind of that's how that's tracking it. So that's one signal that we're seeing. Another one is BTC price slips under its global electrical cost. This one, I don't know about this one. I looked at the data on it along with the code for this chart, and it looks like they're using the global electrical cost along with, I think they're using some of the older miners. I'm not sure exactly how they are calculating the hash rate of those miners and things like that. I don't think the miners are in red yet. Even the ones that are at like 9 cents are pretty close to being in the red. But the ones that are lower than that with good miners, about 100 terahash or better, or even 90 terahash or better, they should be still profitable below the 9 cents. So I don't think we're that bad yet. I think this one's kind of iffy. I don't think it's as exact as it should be, or at least on the miners that I cover. Most of them are around 80 plus terahashes on average for the miners, so they should be okay. Okay, and then we have BTC miners selling its peak. This one's pretty self-explanatory. So you can see here on the bottom chart here, the blue line is miners selling BTC. So this was in 2011, 2015, and now again, this time around at 16,000. We saw a huge spike here of miners selling pressure, which has in the past been as a catalyst for possible bottoms, capitulation in the miners, right? So that's another one. So that's kind of good there. Now, it's not good for the miners because they're selling, but it's good for us that we might be getting close to the bottom. And then the Bitcoin hash ribbon confirms another minor capitulation. So this one is, according to Capital Investments, during minor capitulation, a floor price forms before the hash rate starts to improve. As noted in the chart below, another minor capitulation occurred on November 28th. And if the analysis is correct, this would put Bitcoin's bottom at around 16,915, since the hash rate has begun rising after the November 28th date. So we've seen just a little bit ago, hash price or hash rate is going back up. So that could be another signal there. We'll have to see if that is actually the case or not. Going forward, we've seen this before where the hash rate was going up and price was coming down. So that's one of those that's kind of iffy. We'll see if that is also going to hold true. And then all-time high Bitcoin hodling despite a historic price drawdown. So we can see here on this chart. So throughout Bitcoin's history, the NUPL metric has only shown such a large down draw on 4 occasions. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, and those were usually pretty close to the bottoms here. So this is a little bit more on point, I think. Right? So we're getting close. Then according to Edwards, the behavior is aligned with shifting macroeconomics. Here's what he's had to say. He's looking at Bitcoin entity adjusted dormancy flow is one of the ones that he's using, which value overtakes market capitalization at lowest longitudinal levels. The market can be considered in full capitulation, a good historical buy zone if you go by that. So you can see it here, we're way below that. And another one that he's using here is those keeping Bitcoin at least 1 year now represent more of the network than ever before, 66%. Prior peaks of long-term hodling, all aligned with bear markets toughs. I don't know how to pronounce that. Toughs, I guess. So there's another one. He's also thinking that we might be getting close to the bottom here as well, or if we already reached the bottom. So there is some good news potentially if we have bottomed out. Time will only tell. We'll see where it gets us. Okay. So there are some things that might be looking a little bit better for us. But like I said, only time will tell. All right, let's get into the first miner here, which is Bit Digital. We'll go over their production updates for November. And they had slight improvement here as far as hash rate, a little bit of decrease in BTC mined, but let's get into it. So in November, the company earned 144.1 Bitcoins, a 5% decrease compared to the prior month. The decline in production was driven by an increase in network difficulty, which we're seeing that kind of across the board here with all the miners. Treasury holdings of BTC and Ethereum were 950.3 for BTC and 7,064.7 for Ethereum, with a fair market value of about 16.3 million and 9.2 respectively on November 30th. holdings, the company owned. We know how that they owned quite a bit of miners. They're not all installed yet. 39% of the company's Bitcoin mining fleet, or 14,978 Bitcoin miners representing 1.4 exahash, was actively hashing in North America as of November 30th. So they did increase a little bit on that one. Otherwise, it was just a regular report. Nothing exciting there. They're still having a lot of miners that need to get installed and energized. And hopefully that'll happen over the next coming weeks, months, and quarters to get them to the full 2.7 exahash right now. So they have about 1.3 left to go and all of that. Okay, let's take a look at the numbers that I have for them, see how they did, and then we'll get into Marathon. So Bit Digital, 82.2 roughly million shares outstanding. Stock price is at 78 cents. Market cap 64 million right now. Current hash rate 1.4 exahash. Future hash rate about 2. Well, they said 2.7. I have them at 2.8 here. So we may still have some miners in here that might be getting tossed out. Okay, so we're pretty close to that. BTC mined, you can see here they started out the year when I started tracking them at 194. I wonder if that's for the 3 months that I put that in there, potentially, because that seems kind of high. And if we average that out, that would have been closer to, yeah. So I think the 194 was for the 3 months that they mined in the first quarter. And then we actually got the actual data here. So let's just say they were around, so if you take 194 divided by 3, we're looking at, 68 BTC on average for those months. And then they went up to 76 in April, 53 in May, 67 in June, 142. Nice increase here. They got a lot of miners installed. And then they've pretty much just been flat here for the most part over the last couple months. So 145 in August, 141 in September, 152 in October, and November was 144 BTC mined. While their efficiency here has come down a little bit, but we're kind of seeing that across the board with all the miners, that with the network hash rate increasing and the difficulty, that's putting a strain on them earning less BTC with what they had before. So they started out with 132 in April, 116 in May, 88 in June, 130 in July, August was 133, September 104, October 112, and November 102. So it's still pretty good. They did better than Marathon did, I can tell you that. And they're probably like right now in like third spot for efficiency as it is concerned. So that's always pretty good. Okay, so we got them at 144.1 BTC. Where is that? What do I have? Oh, that's the efficiency, 144.1 BTC mined. That equates to 2.5 million roughly in revenue. For them, it is a decrease of about 5.51% of BTC from the prior month, which isn't too bad, but it's also not too good. And let's look down here. They did sell about 173.8 BTC. They have currently 950.3. So they sold about $3 million worth of BTC if we're using the Bitcoin average price for November. Okay, here's what we got installed for them in November. In November, we only installed 630 of these 63 terahash miners. That got those were mining for about 20 days. The rest of the miners were mining for about 28.1 days to get them to the 2.53 million in revenue. And they still have quite a few miners left to install. It'll be interesting when they get these 100 terahash miners and these other ones, the 88 terahash miners. So we may have some miners here that need to get removed, which are possibly these 19.7 terahash and these 59.3 terahash miners as well. We need to probably get those out of here, because that is skewing the numbers a little bit for us, but not too bad. Okay, there's that. Institutions did decrease a little bit. We had one less institution, but shares of institutions went way down, almost 50%. So now it's 6.8 million shares owned by institutions compared to 12.7. Percentage owned is now 8.3 from 15.44. So that is a big decrease there. Still the same buy ratings. So we have one buy rating. The price targets still are $4 for the high, average, and low. So that didn't really change for them that way. Okay. Now looking at their numbers here. So we're still using only the last 3 quarters, which is Q2, Q1, and Q4 of 2021 for them. And that gets us to 28.8 million. And then this current quarter, we're looking at approximately, well, we're still using the September quarter because we don't have the numbers yet. Once we have the numbers, that will get updated. So based on those numbers, we're looking at approximately at a PE of 20, which is kind of high for them. I would say maybe 15. with 50% net income from gross revenue. We're looking at $3.47 to $5.20. So it's kind of like where the analysts are looking at it, right around $4 right now. But if Bitcoin starts going back up in price, they should be able to generate more revenue that way. That should get their price up as well. But we just don't know where Bitcoin's going to go. Okay, so that is it for Bit Digital. Overall, slow growth. They're trying to get the miners installed into hosting providers, and that's taking time to get those installed. And hopefully they can just continue building on top of that. But they really need to grow faster than the network hash rate. Otherwise, they're going to be generating less and less BTC each month. Okay, so that is it. Let me know what you guys thought of Bit Digital. And let's get into Marathon. So Marathon has been up and down, like I said, with their production here. And this, I thought this trend was going to possibly stop at the end of October, where they had a really nice production month. It seemed like things were going right for them. And now they're back down again, and there's an explanation for it. So let's get into it. There's quite a bit of details here. So in November, this is management commentary. In November, we strengthened our liquidity position, produced 472 Bitcoin, and began improving the efficiency of our mining operations with new technologies, said Fred Thiel, Marathon's chairman and CEO. Given the current macro environment, we took proactive measures to reduce our revolver borrowings from $50 million as of November 9th to $30 million as of November 30th. So this is actually pretty good. They had a lot of Bitcoins that were encumbered, and I think with the price coming down in November, they got a little freaked out possibly and decided it was better to pay some of that off instead of being margin called possibly. So I think that fear was there, and they probably did the right thing there. The combination of this debt repayment and our monthly production increased our unrestricted Bitcoin holdings from 1,950 BTC on November 9th to 4,200 BTC as of November 30th. And we ended the month with 61.7 million in cash on hand. So they still have about, what do they have, 11,000 something. So they still have 7,000 encumbered, it looks like, or restricted BTC, potentially that are being backed by loans. So continuing on here, our production in November was negatively impacted by curtailment at the King Mountain site in Texas. This increased curtailment was caused by spot market pricing on energy driven by weather combined with lower Bitcoin prices. Okay, so I'm guessing that they have pretty good fixed pricing on this. I don't know where it's at, whether it's going to be 7 cents, 6 cents, something like that through their provider. And if pricing spikes, they see it as more profitable to shut down and curtail, basically to recoup some of that in credits possibly. I don't know how they're structured, whether they're getting credits or if they're actually getting cash for it. I'm guessing they're getting credits for it. So that kind of helped them out that way. So I can understand them doing that, which is okay. But they didn't do that in October, which I'm surprised that they did that in November, maybe because it was colder in Texas, possibly in November, and that's the reason why they did it, okay? So continuing on here, we are working on optimizing curtailment strategies and site operations with new operator and expect King Mountain's productivity to improve in the coming months. So that would be good, because this month in November, they went way down. So while Applied Digital awaits regulatory approval to energize a facility in Garden City, Texas, construction of facilities and installations of mining servers remain underway, according to the most public available information. Simultaneously, Marathon continues to execute on its strategy to improve how efficiently we convert electricity into value. Okay, we recently launched an immersion pilot program in our first 14,000 S19 XPs, which are 30% more efficient than the prior generation of servers, were successfully installed in Applied Digital's facility in Garden City, Texas during November. So that is good. That's a lot. That's almost, what is it going to be, 2.2? If I do my math correctly, 2.2 exahash. If they got 100, let's do this really quick here. Pull up my calculator. Let's see here. So they got 14,000 S9s times 1.4. Oh, didn't work out. 1.4. So that would get them to close to 1.96 exahash of miners that would be installed. So almost an extra 2 exahash. And the interesting part here is they're using Applied Digital's facility. So I'm guessing those facilities got bought out from Compute North, it looks like, since they're referencing Applied Digital. Haven't seen any stories on it, but that's kind of what I'm gathering from this. Okay, recent highlights. So December, 472 BTC mined in November. as of December 1st, operating mining fleet consisted of approximately 69,000 active miners capable of producing 7.0 exahash. They should have, based on my calculations, they should have mined like 800 BTC if they mined for the full month, but we'll get into the numbers. So that is a big decrease from what they actually mined. 14,000 S19 XPs were installed in Garden City, Texas in November and are currently pending energization. Hopefully it doesn't take them another 3-5 months like it did with Compute North to get those miners energized while they were waiting for permits and things like that approval. So depending on Applied's digital energization timeline, the company expects to have between 7 exahash and 9 exahash online by December 31st, 2022. So that would be the 2 exahash increase from those 14,000 miners. And let's see here, assessed that approximately 22 million of remaining 42 million in deposits with Compute North are recoverable. So that's possibly good news there. While the recoverability of the remainder remains unknown, subject to the bankruptcy proceedings. So 20 million could be bye-bye, okay? Let's see here. Total Bitcoin holdings increased to 11,757 as of November 30th, so that's good. And then they go into deposits. I wonder if there's anything else here. There's nothing else. So that is it for the update. Let's take a look at my numbers here, and we'll call it a day. Okay, Marathon. There it is. So Marathon, 116 million shares outstanding, stock price 579, market cap 676 million right now. The current hash rate is at 7 exahash. Future hash rate is going to be about 23 exahash. They are currently 30% installed from future hash rate, and they still have about 230% growth in their hash rate to get to 23 exahash. Hash rate average per miner, 100 terahash right now. That will increase when they do get the 140 terahash miners installed. BTC HODL is 11,757, valued at 200 million right now, so that's pretty good. They do have a lot of that. And let's take a look at their BTC production. So BTC production has been all over the place this year. They started out with 462 for January, down to 360 in February, up to 436 in March, down again to 289 in April, down some more in May to 267, down again in June to 140, and then finally down to 72 in July. From there, they started increasing that, and that was up 184 in August, 360 in September, 615 in October, which was a really good month for them. And they're down now again to 472. So with having 7 exahash installed, I calculated that they should have had close to 800 BTC mined for the month if they were running the full month on it. So it's definitely a lot less. What is that, 228 less, right? Or 328 less Bitcoins that they should have mined. BTC efficiency, well, this didn't get updated. I need to update this. I just noticed that. So we'll do that right now. Let's get this updated. We'll multiply this times 1,000 to get the BTC per exahash. And let's do this really quick. Okay. So efficiency, as you can see here on the chart, did fall again to 67.4 for November. They were at 87 in October, which still wasn't all that great, but they installed a lot of miners, so that kind of made sense. September was 97, 57 for August, 103 for July. Their best efficiency for some reason was, oh, yeah, well, that one is a one-off because their Montana hardened facility shut down during the month of June because of strong storms. So they were able to mine quite a bit, but then it got knocked down to only 700 petahash. So that's why their efficiency is way up there, which probably isn't that accurate. May was 68, April was 77, March was 112, February was 96, and January was 133. They have continually been on the lower side of BTC per exahash efficiency on compared to the other miners, which is surprising based on the amount of exahash that they do have. So we'll see if they can improve once they start slowing down their growth a little bit. Okay, so with that number at 472 BTC mined, we got them at 8.3 million in revenue compared to 12 million in October. Big drop there of 7 million roughly. Less revenue from it, so that's not good there. Hopefully they get that figured out. They didn't sell any BTC, it looks like. I still have 11,757, so that came out to be 0. And we didn't install any new miners because they didn't get anything installed. They do have quite a bit of them. What did they say? They have the 14,000 BTC that are XPs that are getting ready to get deployed. So that's one of those. Those will get possibly installed in December, or at least energized. They're already installed. So that will help them out. But you can see here I had them at 801 BTC for them, and we got them at 8.3 million for that right now. And that resulted in them mining 18.27 days out of the month of November. That's a lot of curtailment that they did. So that wasn't good. Okay, but maybe I'm guessing it was worth it for them if the electrical spikes were there to be had. Okay. Next is institutions. Institutions did decrease a little bit also for them to 301 institutions, and shares went down about 3.6 million to 44 million from 47. Percentage owned also went down to 37.66 from 40.77. So looks like some of the institutions are getting a little worried, maybe tired of the inconsistent revenues, potentially. Small percentage at least. Okay, strong buy, 2 regular buys, 4, 3 holds, which is the same that we've had for the past 3 months. Price targets did come down quite a bit though, from 35 to 20 for the high. Average came down to 14.73 from 18.73, and the low still stayed at $8 for them. Okay, so let's take a look at the numbers that we have for them, where I have them at. So they had them at $20 to $8, somewhere around there. Given that they are going to be grown to 22, 23 exahash, I could easily see them between somewhere in this range. And we're using the latest numbers that we have for the last 3 quarters, which are already reported. That is last 3 quarters, 89 million. Current quarter, we're looking at about 34 million. We'll see where December comes in. If they're doing curtailment again, they could come in lower as well. And then we'll see where Bitcoin price ends up at, and the network difficulty as well will affect all of this. Okay, so that's going to change. So the current quarter is going to change, unfortunately. But we currently have them at about 123 million total for the year. That would get us a 50% net income from gross revenue of 61 million. That would get us to about $10.57. Okay, that's kind of where I'm looking at them right now. And if we're using the PE or 75% net income from gross revenue, we're looking at $15.86. So it is still a little bit lower. So it looks like the analysts are looking at somewhere around a 20 if we're really efficient, or 26 PE. And if we're using the 50% net income, we're looking at a PE of 38. I think they're a little high right now, but I think they can get there if they get the miners energized and continue to grow relatively quickly here. So being at 9 exahash by the end of this year would be great. And then we need to see continued huge growth for the first quarter, second quarter of next year as well to get into the 23. But I'm just using the 20 here, so I see in between $10.57 and $15.86 right now. If Bitcoin starts going up, we could get much higher. Okay, so they are undervalued right now, in my opinion. Before, not too long ago, I thought they were pretty well valued, but they were at $10 and $14 per share. So I thought they were a little bit overvalued at that point, given where everybody else was at. So now with the price coming down on them, I think they are undervalued for where they're going to be. And if they continue this growth and fix some of the issues with continued production every month. Okay, so that is it. Let me know what you guys think. They've, I think, turned the corner potentially on some of the hiccups that they've had. Now it's just optimizing their systems, the electricity and everything else, getting the miners installed, energized, and they still have a long ways to go. So I think they're going to be fine. They do have a lot of debt. We'll see what happens with that and what happens with Compute North. But overall, I think they'll be okay. I'm not betting on it, but we'll see. Let me know what you guys thought of this as well. As always, Spreadsheet is available to my Patreon members. Thank you to everyone there for their continued support. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. Love you all. Have a great night, and I'll see you guys what happens tomorrow. All right, that's it. Bye.